Ladies and gentlemen, Suds Media is an official affiliate of the WWE Shop. Whether you want merchandise from the original Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, or the Hall of Famers, the New World Order, or from WrestleMania itself, scan the QR code on the screen or go to suds-media.com/wrestling merch, and it gives us a commission to help our show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Take Me Down to Studio City. As always, I am Vinnie. This is Angela, and we are here to talk about the season finale of season one.
Mm-hmm.
Take Me Down to Studio City, Sean Kanan's project and creation, and talk about a heavy episode.
Oh, well, it was called Decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this one might have been the longest of the episodes by a minute or two. So this one came in at 19 minutes with the previews.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was very heavy.
Um.
Even the
Yeah. Even
on-screen segment of it was heavy.
It was. It starts out with somebody coming in, waving a gun, looking for a doctor, and he's looking for a kidney transplant for his son.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this type of shit does happen.
Yep.
When a parent gets very desperate,
Yep.
trying to get their child healthy, it does happen.
Mm-hmm.
But they talk him down. Sam and Christine's characters, talk him down. They get the gun away
Mm-hmm.
from him. They say they're going to help him find a kidney.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Anastasia did a lot in that episode. It was kind of like
Yeah,
Gloria was rewarding her.
yeah,
She kind of got to be, yeah, the hero there with the talking down, and it was good. I liked it was a very good episode. Good intro to this episode.
exactly. Yes, it does. It made a lot of sense because
Mhm.
we saw in both of the major scenes, actually all three of the scenes that we actually
Mhm.
saw, we saw almost a desperation
Mhm.
on multiple parties. Uh,
Yeah,
the first major scene is with Christine and Max
and Max behind the scenes. Yep.
behind the scenes. Yep, Max talking about, the group that he runs for people who are transitioning or have transitioned and just a support group.
Mhm.
And then he breaks down because he brings up about the girl that killed herself.
Right, recently killed herself, the member that he lost. Yeah.
Yeah. And and he's saying maybe I'm not the person for the job anymore because I can't provide help. I can't provide support. Um which honestly I think is something that somebody always second guesses themselves when something like this
Mhm.
happens in that type of setting.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely you do. And he was talking about, he's like, I'm telling them that there's hope and it gets better. And he's like, but, who am I kidding? She's a, black trans woman. Her life expectancy is less than 40 years. And it was very emotional and very heart-wrenching.
Yeah. And it's also something for people who aren't part of that community to learn to understand, to
Hmm.
accept, and
Absolutely.
and realize it. You know, for and of course, going off into a tangent, for somebody that was raised in a predominantly, Catholic Christian household and going to a Catholic school for 8 years, you're not faced with you're not
Right.
faced with all these things growing up. And that's what shapes your outlook, your mindset. And
Hmm.
we've seen a lot of these topics being talked about on TV,
Hmm.
whether it's infotainment or whether it's on soaps with characters and stuff.
Yep.
We see a lot of it. Um, and the idea obviously is to make awareness and help
Right.
evolve. And I can
Right.
tell you from myself, it's hard to accept stuff that you're not used to. But that's where the evolution comes in and learning,
Right. Right.
being um I hate using the word, but being exposed to different people with different cultures,
Yeah.
different lifestyles.
It
Um,
it widens your worldview.
It does.
So many people, especially in this country, never leave their little part of the world.
Their bubble. Yeah.
Like I'm from Boston, and I have friends that consider big travel if they go to New York or Philadelphia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Born and will die on the same bar stool in the same bar in Southie or Dorchester, wherever. And that's their corner of the world. And that's fine, but it doesn't really give you
It
an
doesn't.
accurate representation of
Exactly.
the rest of the world.
Exactly.
Um, and it's important, people should have that if they can. Not everybody can, and that's fine. But people need to realize also that their experience isn't everybody's experience.
Exactly. Yes.
I use the old adage, how can there be world hunger? I just had a sandwich.
Right.
And that's the thing, and so many people can't see outside themselves.
Right.
And I really loved, I want to have Scott Turner Schofield, who plays Matt, come on, because he had a really great story about how he came to be involved in this project. Sean sought him out
Mhm.
because he had somebody in his life who had transitioned, and he wanted to be supportive and understanding, which I just think is fabulous.
Exactly.
And how their friendship evolved. But I'll let hopefully we can get Scott on and he can talk about that. Um, but it's so many times it comes down for me to, are they hurting anybody?
Right. Exactly.
And I mean, I know there's this whole thing lately. I've been very vocal about it on my Twitter
Mhm.
about the whole bathroom thing.
Yes.
And I'm like, stop being a weirdo.
Yeah. It only gets weird if you make it weird, number one.
Right.
And number two, it's like it's a bathroom. Like
Exactly.
number one, the majority of people who are attacking children are not trans people.
Transgender.
Not,
Right.
they're not drag queens. They're not these people in these small minim, minority groups.
Marginalized groups. Right.
Right. They're largely the people that you don't expect, you know,
Right.
or shouldn't expect, the priest,
Right.
the Catholic
The
priest,
priests.
the,
Yeah. Hmm.
um, whatever the case may be. It's
Right.
not, the one, and believe me, it's taking me a long time to get to the point of acceptance and,
Hmm.
you know, having a gay son, it's hard because it goes against the norm. Um, but it does. It takes a lot. When I got
It
into my
does.
position in my job, my manager is trans,
Hmm.
and he put it's funny because he put a coffee cup upside down on the top of one of our racks and
Hmm.
wrote on it, "People change. Look, now I'm a lampshade."
Yeah.
So it's
Right.
it's a funny representation, but it reminds you the core of the person is still the same,
Exactly.
regardless of what changes on their, outside or
Exactly.
whatever.
And I mean, we could do a whole podcast on this, but it's just, you know, if your behavior is driving somebody to contemplate whether or not it's worth staying alive,
Yeah.
you really have to check your humanity.
And that goes back to the how toxic social media is.
Oh God, yeah.
Numerous people, and not even people from the LGBTQ plus community, but there was a female wrestler in Japan not too long, number of years ago,
Hmm.
because of the bullying online, she ended up killing herself. And it's sad. Number one, it's sad to take people who are anonymous that seriously. That's a whole nother issue.
Right.
But to be that
Right.
hateful just because you're anonymous online
Hmm.
shows the kind of person you truly are. That's
Right.
not somebody I would want to be friends with in real life because of
Right.
that
And
down hatred.
that's the whole reason we do Angela Answers fan mail,
Yeah.
to call out that bullshit. You know what I mean? That's the entire reason.
Yes.
And you know, maybe it will, even if it won't, change the people who are doing it, maybe it'll help somebody who is being affected by it realize that,
Yeah. But, and if you are dealing with bullying or dealing with being hurt, you could reach out to any of us in the podcast community, whether it's
absolutely.
me or Angela
Absolutely.
or even Matt from the 10th floor, James
Mm-hmm.
Lester. Um, I know that, you know, most of them either belong to or are allies of the LGBTQ plus community. Um,
Or even if you're not LGBTQ plus, you are just, you're being bullied,
right.
mental health issues that they're harassing you for, anything. My DMs are open. I will open the Zoom. I've done it. We'll chat, hang out.
Mhm.
I have no problem whatsoever. I'm
Exactly.
home all day. I got time.
Um, but
And I'm happy to always.
yeah. So, if you're dealing with that kind of stuff, reach
Hmm.
out to somebody, talk to somebody, don't hold it in. That's the worst possible thing. Find an outlet if you want to.
Hmm.
Even if you're not even if you're not somebody who's a gym rat and don't want to work out. Hell, there's
Yeah.
kickboxing. Find a
Right.
kickboxing gym and go
Hmm.
bag. That helps. But yeah, there are other outlets, but just talk to somebody,
Yes,
hold it in.
absolutely.
Um, moving on, and this is going to be a heavier episode of our show because it was such a heavy episode of Studio City.
Yeah.
A very, very short segment was Delilah leaving a voicemail for Sam,
Delia.
saying that Sam was
Yes.
um
She'd been trying to call him
yeah,
and she hadn't heard from him. And yeah.
and she'd been missing him and what have you. And then we see later on in the episode he plays the voicemail.
Voicemail. But
Um,
there was a real poignant moment too when she was like, did I make you mad? Did I do something? Which was very real as well, because kids,
yep,
in their psyche, with things being all about them, they think, which is why it's very dangerous.
yes,
For parents have to be careful, but
yes,
they make sure that their kids know it's not you, it's me.
yep.
So yeah.
Um, and then after that scene, we move on to Sam and Doc, and then Lori comes in, and um,
Yeah.
just talking to Doc because he's made the decision that he doesn't want to go through chemo anymore.
Hmm.
He just wants to die on his own terms,
Right.
and it's one of those things that's again, it's one of those big debates. Should people have the right to die when they want to, or how
Right.
they want to? Back in the 90s, there was a controversial Dr. Kevorkian who helped with assisted suicides.
Hmm.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there are some states that now allow doctor assisted suicides. Um,
Yeah, I think there might
I
be.
think
Yeah.
there's maybe one or two.
Hmm.
It's a very controversial topic.
It
Uh,
is. It is. And there are countries that allow it. And I mean, I'm pretty sure that Canada allows it now. Um, and it is controversial and it's a hard subject. It really is.
it is,
It's
and Sam, brings up to Doc that because first Doc calls him a bastard, get out, because he's trying to talk to him and reason with him and what have.
hmm
Especially because Doc seems to be drinking himself to death
hmm
and taking
Yep.
his pills more than he should be, trying to kind of rush the process.
Yeah.
Um, and, you know, and Sam kind of brings up, says, you're a selfish son of a bitch. And he's like, it's ironic because that's what Lori tells me I am, but
Hmm.
people that love you, and he brings up
Right.
from the past. And, this is the man that raised him,
Right.
it,
For all intents and purposes.
right, it's his dad. And
And he even calls him dad. He brings out the calling him dad thing. And
exactly.
yeah.
And it's a hard episode. It's a hard episode to watch.
Yeah.
Um, if you've dealt with stuff like that, even if you haven't, but you could just feel
Yeah.
the emotion coming off the screen.
Well, yeah, Lori was just, she's like, if you want to do this, we can't stop you, but please, 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 please. She was like begging and crying her dad, let us help you. And he's like, I just can't. This is how it has to be. And um Sarah Joy Brown is not in season 2. She had to take the time off. They're hoping to bring her back if they can do a season 3, but her father was dying at the
Oh,
time, and it was just too much,
yeah.
which understandable,
Hmm.
because then it's just at work and at home. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to do it. Yeah,
That's a lot to deal with.
yeah, yep. So, yep, but yeah, so yeah, it was a great episode as always, but it was a very, very heavy one.
Yes. And I'm gonna say, discretion is advised for this episode. If you're,
Yes,
um, there are, I would say probably, I hate using the word, but trigger warning. Uh,
trigger warnings. Yeah, absolutely. And we see Doc after they leave.
mhm.
He's calling his doctor's office
Yeah, double
with
refill.
a made up story about dropping his pills down the toilet. And then he says he's going on a trip. So he's hoping they could double his prescription so that he has plenty for the trip. And so that's sad and ominous.
Yes.
And then Sam is at home and drinking.
Yep. Exactly. Drinking, kind of wallowing himself.
Yeah.
Which, it's like he just had this long talk with his father and his sister, and just, I get it. It's a heavy subject. You just want to go home, decompress, and he's drinking, playing the
Piano. Yep.
piano, and then listens to the voice message
Yeah.
left by Delilah. Um, and that's where it ends. Like,
Yeah.
it just,
Yeah.
he's probably thinking in his mind, this girl is trying to reach out to me. I've been trying to deal with him. It's just a
Mhm.
cycle.
Yeah. It's hard and it's vicious.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's oh, so good.
Yes.
So good. And yeah. So decisions.
Yes, a
It was an
lot.
episode of a lot of decisions.
Yes.
Or a lot of people struggling with decisions that others were making or that they had to make. And yeah, it,
Yeah. So just a lot in this episode. Remember, we are going by the original release on Amazon Prime. So this is season
mhm.
11, or season 1, episode 11, which is the season finale. Uh,
Yep,
and so just to kind of a couple of programming notes, due to being the holiday season, we're gonna pause, take me down to Studio City and reconvene after the holidays. Um, our goal is to have some interviews
yep,
before we start season 2. Um,
yes.
so we'll reconvene after Christmas and after New
Hmm.
Year's with this show. After the first of the year, we'll also have a new episode of Angela Answers Fan Mail.
Yes.
Um, so just stay tuned. Stay tuned to our Patreon, patreon.com/Suds and
Hmm.
Central. Anything that we do pre-recorded, you get early and ad-free. And anything before it goes to the RSS feed or the YouTube feed. Um, but that's pretty much it. So, fantastic first season. It wrapped up,
Absolutely.
and it based on where we were, you could see the change in Sam to a
Hmm.
small extent, almost like he's almost there. Um,
Yes,
but you can also
absolutely.
see the evolution of the characters in general, just from the
Hmm.
beginning to the end. Absolutely fantastic. Definitely check it out. Um,
Yes.
City is on the Roku channel. It is on, I believe, the Dove channel as well, but those are re-edited to fit, I believe, a half-hour show format.
Yep.
So, Amazon Prime original release, that's what we're going by.
Hmm.
So,
And if you guys have any questions or comments, anything you want us to address or talk about when you watch it, please drop us a note.
yes,
We're around, we're there, and we love to hear from you.
yes, absolutely. The show is great. Check it out, Studio City. Amazon Prime, Roku, Dove Channel as well. But we are done for right now. We are wrapping season one of Studio City. We will be back after the holidays. So
Yes,
everybody out there, have a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and Happy New Year. And if you
all of
don't
it.
celebrate anything, Happy Festivus. Um,
Yes.
but either way, enjoy the holiday season, spend some time with your family, and
Or don't.
or don't, yeah. But either way, spend time
Yeah.
with people you like if you do.
Yes.
Um, but either way, just try to be nice to others around this time of year.
Yes.
So that's it for now. Um, we will be back after the holiday as we get taken down to Studio City. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye.